Nice. Hello and welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Death and Taxes. So the deck that I started playing Legacy with, a deck that is very close to my heart. A deck that, as of recently, hasn't been doing too well in the face of kind of the Plague Engineer and Renin 6 influence on the archetype, but there have been a few players who've been powering through and obviously putting up some pretty decent results. So I have been really enjoying going back to it. I kind of think that the hype of sort of Plague Engineer and Ren dominating format is coming to an end, which is nice. As the decks that they really hit have started transitioning out of the format, you've kind of seen a shift of really the need for those cards anymore. So it's kind of a case of the boogeyman gone and we can come out of the closets. But yeah, the decks changed a little bit since I last played it. So playing with Giver Runes over Mother Runes, playing with cards like Charming Prince, and also Deafening Silence in the sideboard. Deafening Silence I like a little bit more than Chalice, just right now, just while I'm testing it out. Echo, welcome to chat. So Deafening Silence should be pretty fun to play with. I like because it's turn 1 disruption that really slows down our opponents, especially those on Dark Ritual decks. Lineside Diamond effects, even Burn, it's not too bad against, but haven't been seeing too much Burn online. So the list is pretty straightforward. There's nothing really too much to talk about. I'm playing around with Thalia, Heretic, Cathar. I really like her right now. I think Karakas is pretty good right now, and to be able to have so many threats that we can actually protect with Karakas is really nice. So Thalia, Heretic, Cathar really nice as well against Miracles, where it's a threat that we can protect with Karakas, but it also turns on Wasteland against a mana base that usually isn't that susceptible to Wasteland. So being able to Wasteland fetches is of course pretty huge. So I've ticked her up to a 2-of in the deck. She can be found with Recruiter, but I kind of just want to find it naturally and leave Recruiter to find things like Palace Jailer or Sanctum Prelate. I could see myself going up on Revokers, seeing that Oko's in the format now. I think there's a lot of decks that Revoker is really good against, so could see a tick up there. It's always tough pulling out a Flickerwisp and only playing 3, but I felt like I really needed to, just to fit in the second Charming Prince. I like having the 2 in the deck. In case you draw 1, you still have 1 to recruit for. And I'm most likely going to be keeping Aether Vial on 2 a lot more with the Charming Princes in the deck than going straight up to 3 in case we draw a Recruit or Flickerwisp. So that should be pretty fun. So we'll see how this goes. A huge thank you to Card Hoarder for letting me get the deck. Card Hoarder sponsored the channel, which is really nice. So I have access to a lot of these cards pro bono. And also to MTG Mate, who is a Australian online card seller. Sells singles. Will be at Magic Fest Brisbane. Also sponsored the channel, and you can get 5% off singles if you use the code DUGES at checkout. So if you're in Australia, welcome, and yeah, definitely check out mtgmate.com.au. It is a very good site. But yeah, D&T is going to be interesting. I think the faster combo decks are always going to be a little bit rough. Things like Reanimator, sometimes Storm. A lot of our interaction is on 2, so having those Deafening Silences will be really nice against those decks, because Chalice, without Ancient Tomb, kind of the God Hand, we don't really have turn 1 interaction. Outside of Surgical or Faerie Macabre, if you count those. Oh, pretty warm here in Australia. We have our first match. Alright. Up against Boba, who we talk about a lot on the Green Sun Zenith. This hand's pretty nice. I'm going to keep this. It's a Vial hand. We have Stoneforge Mystic as a threat. And the flicker effects in Charming Prince and Flickerwisp are really nice as well, so we'll definitely keep this. The Wasteland's really nice as well if this Aether Vial's going to stick. But just a snow-covered island and pass. We can't really play around... So we can play around Daze if we want to play the Ancient Tomb, but I think it's worth just going with a Plains into Vial. I'm probably more likely to see something like Spell Pierce here than a Daze. But you never know. And it looks like a force, so either way, pitching Preordain, interesting. Preordain seeing play in combo decks and some Delver decks, so the deck hasn't given itself away completely yet. However, the double basic island is pretty interesting. Here I'm pretty happy just to run out the Stoneforge Mystic. I don't really want to play the Ancient Tomb yet, so that's going to be fine. Counterspell. Okay, so maybe this is just straight miracles. Which is a great reason why they counter the Aether Vial, because Vial is probably my best card against miracles. Pretty happy to see what we draw to just play Charming Prince. Wasteland. Wasteland a little bit dead here. I'm going to go with Charming Prince first and Scry. It also turns on the Flickerwisp next turn a little bit. Karakas and Port. Not the worst. Port's okay, but I kind of just want to put these both on bottom and try to draw into some more creatures. We'll play a Wasteland. I actually don't mind going with Tomb here. They're most likely not going to fetch a non-basic anyway, so I'm going to go just for Wasteland Pass. If I wanted them to think that I didn't have a Wasteland, then there's, you know, a bit of thought there to just go with an Ancient Tomb, but this also kind of forces them to get a basic island instead of a Tundra. Jace is interesting because now they really have to find a Force of Will, or else this sort of Fire and Ice is actually going to deal with the Jace, which is quite nice. They only have 3 cards in hand as well, so I might as well. They're not a Daze deck, so I think I might actually just play this sort of Fire and Ice. They might let it resolve if they don't think we can equip it this turn. Okay, it's gonna get forced. Pitching back to basics, okay. Happy then just to play a Wasteland and play this Vial. And then attack Jace. There's probably a little bit of merit there as well to play the Flickerwisp just to get 2 creatures on the board, and flickering the Charming Prince to actually get something like the Scry 2 again isn't too bad. But Teferi's going to bounce, which is very interesting. Getting a lot more value of this Charming Prince than I originally thought against this deck. Definitely tick this up to 1. Palace Jail is actually a great draw. And I think a card that I might actually just throw out here. There's not really too much downside. I might even use the Ancient Tomb, just in case they have another back to basics. It doesn't catch me with 2 Wastelands down. The only thing I don't want to see here is a Snapcaster Mage. Because Snapcaster and then like a bounce with Jace is pretty brutal. Okay. It's quite nice. So although Teferi only allows me to really work at sorcery speed, Aether Vial plays around that really well, which is really nice. So even if they drop a Mentor here, I don't think they will, because they know about the Charming Prince, which can actually flicker the Palace Jailer to take it out. So they can't really apply too much pressure here in regards to creatures. They kind of have to really rely on just getting their hand a little bit better. This is Mentor mana, which is interesting. Ponder first, okay. Charming Prince has been surprisingly good. All three abilities have been relevant. The gain life, the least relevant, but at the same time, Back to Basics is going to be fine. But yeah, at the same time, the gain 3 is really relevant against the Delver and True Name decks, where you can just buy that extra turn that you needed. Planes. So I don't want to overcommit to run into something like a... Oh. Do I care about this enough to flicker it? I think I do. I think I actually want this Palace Jailer. They're most likely swords in here to keep a Planeswalker. Not so much that they don't have something like Supreme Verdict, but I think just having the ability on the ground is pretty nice. And then I'll draw first. Recruit is actually a great draw. So now Vial going up to 3 next turn is going to be pretty great for me. And the Recruiter means we can get some pretty cool stuff. Probably something like Sanctum Prelate, which we can name on 1. I could cast the Thalia. I just didn't want to overcommit too much to the board. Especially when something like Supreme Verdict is pretty close. Be interesting if they actually go for the Aether Vial, and they do here, so that's pretty interesting. I'm definitely playing around some sort of board sweeper. So here I might as well... I guess Stoneforge Mystic is an issue. If I want to play around Swords and Stoneforge Mystic, I could play the Thalia first. But they could just Swords in response. I guess that gives me a little bit of information if I should go both at Jace or not. So there's the snap. Yeah, but if it's a one-of, it doesn't mean that they have it in hand. I think that's not a great way to think. A deck like this, there's definitely no reason not to run something like Supreme Verdict or Terminus in the main deck. Especially when it looks so heavy on Planeswalkers that... Yeah, I think it's fine to run something like Supreme Verdict in this deck. This Thalia does turn on fetches, which is nice as a way to actually use my Wastelands effectively. Yeah, exactly. I think if Rug's going to be the boogeyman of the format, then Supreme Verdict seems great as a way to just make sure you're getting rid of multiple threats at once. Might as well attack first before I do anything. Swords is pretty good. I kind of like just going Thalia Stoneforge here. Or at least Thalia first to see what counterbalance is. Chose not to use Counterbalance, okay. Brainstorm. Interesting. Chose not to use it. Still pretty happy just to get Batterskull here. It turns the Stoneforge into a real threat as well. Yeah, that was interesting. Maybe they thought they could deal with the Thalia by itself, but not both Thalia and Stoneforge Mystic. This might even just be a hard cast Terminus. A lot of digging. At least they don't have a mentor out while all of these cantrips are going on. 2 brainstorms, 3 brainstorms, 2 ponders. This is going to resolve. Now I'm pretty happy just to hardcast Batterskull. And then if they want to actually bounce it with either of these, I can flicker it. But if these Wastelands aren't doing too much either, I might as well Batterskull first and then Thalia. They chose not to use, and they did ponder last turn, so they probably pondered to actually counter Thalia, so I might just keep Thalia in hand for now. Okay, well, now I can definitely just throw one away, which is kind of nice. So next turn I can attack with the Germ, attack the Jace. If they do anything, I can then throw a Thalia into counterbalance, see what's on top, and then cast the Flickerwisp as well. There's Terminus, okay. That's fine. So now I'm pretty happy to throw this Thalia first. They probably only have maybe one other 3-drop, if that. So I might even just go Flickerwisp first. Chose not to use. Flicker the Batterskull. And then I might just throw a Thalia to see what's on top. There's such a high upside. Rest in peace, okay. Main deck Rest in Peace is pretty interesting. I don't think that really tells me anything. I don't think they're playing like a Helm combo in the main deck. But that could be pretty interesting. Yeah, they could be playing Energy Field. So the Recruiter's kind of there just in case something arises. I could definitely play Recruiter and name like 4 or 6 to try to play around some sort of board wipe, but I think I'm happy just kind of making sure they always have some sort of answer. So here I'm pretty happy to attack all creatures to Jace. We can play the Vial. And I think I just pass. I think I'm pretty happy just to play the slow game, draw some more cards, and then use the Vial to put all my creatures in. Just to make sure they're not getting anything off. Oof, okay. Entreat's pretty good. Yeah, I definitely could have there. But the 7 angels are going to be pretty rough. Bounce on Batterskull is pretty brutal. Sadly, Cataclysm is in the sideboard. Wasteland. So 28 coming in. I can block with a Flickerwisp. So I have to get the Batterskull down. Swords on top, okay. We'll get out Jitte, and then just pass back. But it's looking pretty bad. Another Thalia isn't great. We really need Wisp and Wisp. I think we're definitely just dead to the Swords to Plowshares, because they can just sword anything that we put the Batterskull in. I guess the Giver kind of deals with that, but the Jace here might just bounce the Batterskull. I guess it could just bounce the Flickerwisp and that's game. Surely that's the line. Bounce Flickerwisp, sink for 28 in the air. Interesting. I guess we're just dead either way. Because we can't... I mean, we can always try. No. I don't think we can even swing for lethal back, especially with that swords there, because I would just swords before the Giver comes online. So what do I like taking out? I don't mind dropping on the swords. I like the Council's Judgment. I like the Cataclysms. I don't mind Ballista as a one-of. I don't mind taking out... I don't mind one silence. I just want to make sure that I know what I'm taking out before I start jamming too many cards in. Leonin Relic-Warder is nice as a one-of to try to have in the deck. Silence does slow down a lot of things. It also means that they can't miracle cards in our turn, which is nice. Unless they have Portent. Stoneforge isn't that great in this matchup, so I'm happy to take out 2. I still like having the 3 equipments because the games go long. We can probably take out a Wasteland and even drop something like probably a Thalia. Although that is everything. Maybe I'll just drop like this. I'm pretty happy with that. Would love to play first. This hand's pretty abysmal, so I'm gonna mulligan this. This hand's not that great, but I'm gonna keep it. And I'll bottom the Wasteland. They definitely have a pretty Wasteland-proof mana base. And if anything, it's just a bit of a downside due to back to basics. I don't want to be relying on it as a mana source. Ancient Tomb, interesting. I'm pretty happy here just to go for Stoneforge Mystic. Getting sort of Fire and Ice. That's more than fine. We can definitely attack. And really just 6 our turn and their turn. Karakas. I'm gonna go for Recruiter. Hey, King, welcome to the chat. Counterspell's pretty good. For those of you unaware, you should check out the King's latest podcast with Goblin Lackey, which was very cool. Back to basics is a little bit annoying. Gonna keep up the white mana, play the Revoker naming Jace, and pass back. It was very cool, much like my other episodes. I don't doubt it. Terminus, rough. Can't draw it up much sweeter than that. We'll go any order, and then look like it looks pretty bad. We have 1 mana to untap. Jailer, sadly a little bit too slow. Teferi's pretty good. Back to basics really slogging us now. Hey, ask for Alex. Welcome to the stream. Thalia's not the worst. It is a little bit of pressure. But if they have something like a Swords of Plowshares here, I'm pretty keen just to go to match 2 because I don't see us coming back from this. We'll concede there. Yeah, we can't really put up a fight there. So we are currently 0-1 against Miracles. Pretty rough, but you know, you got to take it when you get slammed like that. That was just a Miracles deck that looked to be a little bit more heavy on the Planeswalkers. Yeah, it must have brought in Palace Jail from the sideboard, I believe. Pretty sweet deck. Sorry, pretty sweet card for that deck. Lace Tone, 56513. I don't mind this hand because of the Vial. So I'm going to keep this, but I think in a competitive environment, I probably would have maybe kept it off a little bit longer. This looks like it's Black-Green Depths. Okay, this looks like Hogak Depths. Interesting. So, Swords to Plowshare is going to be nice. And the Palace Jailer, hopefully if this game goes long, actually going to make a bit of a hit as well. So we'll go for Vial first off the port. And then next turn, I don't mind playing Revoker on the Mox Diamond to try to keep him off a bit of mana, but we'll see how we draw. You've never once been tempted to sleeve up Palace Jailer in your Miracle 75? Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I feel like you can keep the Monarch quite well, but it's kind of weird to tap out for it. I guess if you're playing 3 mana creatures, is a little bit different. So they could have crop rotation up, so I don't really want to go with Wasteland here. So I'm just going to play a Wasteland and pass, and then just play Port in their upkeep. Probably on the Dried Arbor. It also turns off the Dried Arbor tapping for Hogak. And they have the crop, okay. Urborg, okay. Well, that kind of turns on the Dark Depths combo pretty quickly. Another crop rotation, okay. So they go for Dark Depths here, and then we get a turn to draw into a white source. Oh, I guess we can actually put Charming Prince on the field and gain 3 life, which puts us up to 21, which is kind of nice. So it's going to be pretty tough. Hey, Kefkurut, thank you very much. Okay, so the attack is down to 19. Down to 18 from 19. Hey, Xiardian7, thank you very much for the follow. Let me know how you... If you play Magic, if you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. Alright. So I don't mind Revoker here on Mox Diamond. Now we can Wasteland, just in case they had like Steppy up. Gain 3. And now we're sweating another draw. I mean, it's not like it's a win right here. Need to draw into that white source. Or a Flickerwisp. I guess I could leave it at 2, but... Like for Tomik, but I think 3 is just better. No! Oh, crazy. So that's just game, right? We don't have an out. Can't put the Jailer into play. We can't cast the Swords Plowshares. We can't play the Jitte and equip and swing. And we can't play Thalia. So that is game. Pretty rough. We are a mono white turn, but that's the matchup sometimes, just being too fast. So let's bring in Part to Exile. I don't mind Rest in Peace because it does look like they're on the Hogak list. I think the Relic-Warder is worth it, and then I probably just take out... I don't mind taking out Thalia's. Sanctum's fine, but I think because we also run a plethora of non-creature spells where we want to name like 1 or 2, I'm pretty happy taking them out. That seemed pretty nice. I guess I could bring in Council's Judgment if I really wanted to, but I don't think there's anything that I really care about. Just want to think a little bit more. Stoneforge Mystic is also an interesting card. I don't know if that's good enough. Maybe I want to drop a Mystic for just to know that I have a Council's Judgment in the deck. Could also go for Walking Ballista, which can interact with Vampire Hexmage if they play it, or Dark Confidant. They most likely do have something like Plague Engineer on the sideboard, probably over Liliana Last Hope, although Last Hope does kind of work with the Hogak vibe of the deck. Yeah, it's pretty tough. I mean, I didn't think that I'd have the two crop rotations. Yeah, I'm going to go down to 2 Stoneforge Mystics and bring in the second Council's Judgment. Just to make sure if they bring in any Haymakers, we know we have a better out than just having the 1 Council's Judgment. This sounds great. We'll keep this. Plains into Vial. Used to play a lot of Bug Childless, then Leovold. Also Chain was a deck I used to play. I'm playing less now. If I would pick up a deck now that Ren and 6 is a thing, it would be Snow Color. Full Color Snow. Yeah, it kind of sucked how Shardless just died. I was a huge fan of Shardless Bug. I think Shardless Agent itself is a very cool card, and sadly it just doesn't have a home right now. Which is not something that you usually see when you look at the card. You just see how powerful it is. I guess it does see play in Aluren, but Aluren doesn't see too much play at the moment. Hexmage is pretty good. Pretty happy just to most likely port here. Council's Judgment really nice if they do play a Dark Depths, because if we cast it, they either have to sack the vampire or not. Oh, that was quick. That was fast. Put in Giver. And now our play actually lined up really well, so we'll just cast this. Tomik's pretty nice as well. I can actually just use this right now. Tomik stops Hexmage as well, I believe. Lands on the battlefield and lands in graveyards. Can't be the targets of spells or abilities your opponents control. Nice. And they've conceded, okay. Yeah, I wasn't too sure if they had an out of the Tomik as well. So what I could have done is put Council's Judgment on the stack, and if they tried to respond to it, I could put in the Tomik then, but I kind of felt like the Tomik on the board is just a pretty good win as well, especially with Mum on board as well, or Giver. Yeah, it's fair. So I guess the best case there, I can get a Mox Diamond out of it, but I'm not really in a position where I want to use that Council's Judgment on just a Mox Diamond. This sounds fine. The double Vial's nice, and we have some interaction with Phyrexian Revoker on Hexmage, and Tomik is a pretty nice card as well, so we'll keep this. Thoughtseize is fine. Most likely going after the Tomik. Our opponent did mulligan to 6. What does Tomik do? So Tomik says lands on the battlefield and land cards in graveyards can't be the targets of spells or abilities your opponents control. Your opponents can't play land cards from your graveyards. So they can't use things like Vampire Hexmage targeting their own land. They can't use... they could just have like crop rotation here for Dark Depths and then play Hexmage, which would be pretty good. Stay tier, okay, a lot better for us. They can't use Thespian Stage either, which is pretty big. And then they can loam, but they can't get anything back. Same with Ren. They can tick up Ren, but they can't get any lands back. So because Ren says, what did they get back? Bayou. Okay, so tapping down the Bayou doesn't do too much. I don't mind playing Port here and just passing. And then next turn I have the second Vial open anyway. So I'll be able to tax them a little bit here. Yeah, I think the only way they can win is some sort of beatdown plan with Hogak. But even then it's pretty tough because we do have access to Karakas. So now it looks like Hogak coming in. Which is a definite threat. I mean, we have to find Karakas or a Swords to Plowshares to deal with it. So that's why I really like this deck, because it kind of comes from two angles. That's a pretty great draw. So pretty happy just to play Karakas and then hold up Vial. Trophy, interesting. We'll definitely return Hogak. And then we can't save it, so we will just search. Yeah, it's definitely a pretty massive card for the matchup. Tomik's definitely one of the best cards that we have. We will definitely try to turn off this Hexmage here. Pretty good. Pretty good turn. I'm pretty happy to put this to 3. Flickerwisp is kind of nice. So we can play a land. And probably just Vial and Thalia. Holding up Flickerwisp. I guess we just take Hogak out here, just to save us 8 life. It also comes in tap, so we do have the option to attack next turn with something like Thalia, Heretic, Cathar, but they can take it with the they can trade it with the Hexmage if they really want to. I don't mind an attack here with Hexmage, because at worst it's trading with the Thalia, and at best it's getting in 2 damage, so I think I just like the Thalia here more, especially seeing it's already turned off by the Revoker. So I'm just going to take the 2. also means we can attack pretty profitably next turn. We have Palace Jailer in the deck, which is pretty good. We also have another Karakas, so we won't put this one up, but we will put this one up. So I attack with the Thalia here. I guess they could block with the Stitches, which isn't the worst. But we're most likely taking 10 next turn no matter what. So I don't mind attacking with Thalia, because then it most likely means they attack with both of these creatures, meaning we can attack back with the Revoker at least. Not too bad for us there. Kind of nice that they didn't draw into the Elvish Reclaimer. They floated a mana. So I'm going to go to their draw step. Okay, they didn't use it, so then we'll use the other port here. Alright, now we need to draw well. So we'll keep the other one at 3 and put one at 2. Use Aether Vial's ability. No. And yes. Charming Prince is interesting. I feel like the Charming Prince is best if we scry. I can attack with the Wisp and then hold it back, but I think I might just... We're definitely attacking with the Flickerwisp, and then I think I'm just keeping the Charming Prince for instant speed shenanigans. I'm not sure if I want to flicker the Hogak. I'm not sure if that does enough. Because we're still losing that race. I think we need to Prince for Scry. Sadly, Hogak does have Trample, so chumping isn't as effective as usual. But I think the Scry here is probably the best choice. So I definitely don't want to draw into just another creature, or another land that isn't a Karakas. I definitely wouldn't have won the race. This is fine. All right. Scry 2. Path's pretty good. So put on the bottom. Maybe I do want... I don't think I want the Revoker just in case they draw into Thespian Stage. So put on bottom and put on top. These we will trigger no longer. I think I just wait for their upkeep. So here I can attack with both. The stage does enter tap, that's very correct. I want to turn off crop rotation for Steppy if they play it. Okay, so luckily for us, we can now path this. And now we just have lethal unless they have another creature. So yeah, pathing in our turn was... Sorry, pathing in their turn was so that the forest comes in tapped, so they don't have access to green on their turn. So I wonder if they even have an out. And it looks like they don't. Okay. So we got that one, which is really nice. Charming Prince there, just really nice. Especially even though we were going to draw the path, just to know we were going to draw something that actually won us the game is really nice. But yeah, scary stuff. I mean, Hogak is no means a small threat as a 8/8 with trample. This hand's fine. Turn 1 Giver, turn 2 Port, turn 3 Thalia or Recruiter with swords is nice. Strom. This looks like... I mean, it could be anything. It could be from Delver to Miracles to Sneak and Show, so... Hasn't really given away anything yet, and Vial's a great draw. Yeah, safest lines are... Sometimes I just don't do the safest lines. It's always nice to see what the non-safe line achieves. Fetching straight away, interesting. Plains. Just gonna play Port and tap down their snow-covered. YOLO, as the kids say. Double blue's nice. I guess the giver, it doesn't really matter that it can't be pathed straight away because it can't protect itself, but it's a nice little upside here. Revoker. I'm just gonna go with a basic into pass. I guess I could attack. There's no reason not to attack here. Unless I wanted to make sure the Revoker is stuck around. Hmm. No guts, no glory. Definitely tap down this. Plains. Teferi's fine because we have the Revoker. Recruiter, interesting. Pretty happy to attack Teferi for 2. And then maybe just play a Recruiter for a Flickerwisp and hold up Flickerwisp and Thalia and Recruiter. Force pitching Spell Pierce, okay. Entreat, interesting. So the Miracle plus the triggered ability, sure. In response, we'll put in Thalia. Just so they come in tapped. This will stay at 3. Giver. Definitely happy to attack them. Sadly, I don't have the mana to cast both Palace Jailer and Swords. Yeah, if I exile 1, it's pretty bad if they then just attack and then somehow wipe the board. I'm just going to play it a little bit safe. Going after their white mana so that if they cast something like Council's Judgment, they need to get a Tundra for it. Unless they have another fetch land that comes in tapped, of course. They need the snow-covered plains, which they don't have. Keeping it back, interesting. So here I'm pretty happy just to get a Flickerwisp. I guess I could get Jailer and just throw the Vial away. If I get Jailer, I don't want to cast it because I just don't want it to get countered. I'm just gonna get Wisp. Wisp seems great. And us going wide just means that they have to do something with it. With the board state. Plains is nice. No great attacks. Brainstorm's fine. They're going to fetch. Okay, so they don't have Terminus on top, which is nice. Ah, Mystic Sanctuary. Interesting. What'd they put on top? What did they put up on top? Is Mystic Sanctuary even in here? I didn't see anything. Ah, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Of course, yeah, Thalia actually turns it off, which is quite nice. Jace is going to be fine. What are they doing here? Brainstorming. Okay. So they don't have up mana for Terminus, which is nice. And this Flickerwisp with a Giver is just going to deal with the Jace. So we might as well go Flickerwisp here in the end, in the main phase on Recruiter, and go and get Prelate. That's probably the card that we really, really care about. All right. Jitte. Interesting. Why not? I think it's better than Port here. Port doesn't do a whole lot. Giver can give pro white. Attack Jace. This Jitte means that the Thalia can now attack into the Angel profitably as well, which is really nice. Yeah, I guess I could give first strike damage and then return it. But I'm pretty happy to see what they did here. Nothing. Swords targeting Giver. In response, I'm going to give this Giver protection from white. So now I'm pretty happy just to hold this Prelate up for board wipe. I can't really play around Supreme Verdict, but I can play around Terminus. So now I'm pretty happy just to attack with these three. So I'm not too sure if my opponent knows what's going to happen here. So we deal first strike, and then before damage, we give the Angel neg 1, neg 1. Interesting. And now, because I already have a board state, I'm pretty happy to keep these 2 cards in hand, just in case they do run into a Supreme Verdict or a Terminus that I can't deal with for some reason. Because we do have lethal on the field. How do you hold it up? It prevents casting not resolving. Am I missing something? Yeah, so when they reveal a Terminus, they reveal it and trigger its miracle. And then in response to that, you can put in the Sanctum Prelate naming 6. So it's kind of a little between move, which is kind of nice. Nice to get that game. Cataclysm's great. Council of Judgment's great. I don't mind one Deafening Silence. I don't mind Leonin. We didn't really see many like back to basics or counterbalance that game, so let's just go with the kind of same formula. So I might just do it like this. I don't mind Walking Ballista. It does require an answer, which is really nice. Can drop a Wasteland. I don't mind keeping in one source to Plowshares, just in case they do have something like Containment Priest, which is pretty annoying if we start with a giver of an Aether Vial start. Or something like a Palace Jailer. So I'm just going to go ahead like this. Might actually drop a Tomik for the Leonin Relic-Warder, just in case they do bring in something that I want to deal with that we don't have access to outside of flickering it for a turn. This sounds great. We'll keep this. I like this card, especially if they're on a mentor plan. Definitely slows them down a lot. Another port's pretty nice. See how this vial goes. Wow. I guess I didn't see... Maybe they kept like a one-lander? I'm not too sure what happened there. Vials are scary, man. Vials are very scary. I'm going to assume the only reason you concede there is that you've brainstormed and seen no lands and you've kept a one-lander without another cantrip, perhaps? I mean, at least a ponder gets you a shuffle, but maybe it just didn't... Maybe it just didn't come through. That's pretty rough. Alright. On the play, okay. Against DJ Zizma. This hand's interesting. I'm not the biggest fan. It's got quite a high mana curve. It definitely has all the tools to win a game. We just need to make sure we're drawing into land. We're not too sure what we're up against, but it has a great game against anything from Delver to combo with Prelate here. I don't... We need Frank Carsten to tell us the odds of having one lane drop, one cantrip, not seeing another one of those. I'm not a big fan of keeping this. I can definitely see this hand backfiring against like a rug deck that plays Daze and Wasteland. So I'm going to mulligan this. And we're just going to keep this. We're going to keep it and bottom the Ancient Tomb. And really hopefully ride these Wastelands to a victory while we also play Stoneforge Mystic. So we'll keep and bottom the Ancient Tomb. Alright. Because we only have Karakas as our second white source, I'm pretty happy just leading on the plains to make sure we don't get Wastelanded straight away, which isn't the worst thing, but especially because our hand is very good against the Wasteland deck, but I'd rather keep that Karakas in hand as long as we can. That's not the card I want to see when I have a Wasteland hand. Plains, okay. I think here I'll just play the second Plains and play the Stoneforge Mystic. Hopefully won't run into something like a Spell Snare, which is nice. So I can get a Batterskull if I really want them to make this, if I want this Stoneforge to actually be something useful. Or I can get sort of Fire and Ice. I'm going to get Batterskull. I think we have definitely the mana base to actually just play it later on in the game as a hard cast. But it also means deal with this Stoneforge now, or else. Prismatic Vista has been, yeah, very good for Legacy. Especially for those playing the sort of budget builds with kind of like no dual basics, no dual mana bases. It's pretty cool to see because it kind of lowers the barrier to entry a little bit. This definitely seems like a plains into swords kind of move. All right. Ancient Tomb. Didn't we bottom it? Oh, we shuffled with the Stoneforge. Okay. Let's just go for Wasteland Pass. And then next time we can actually hardcast the Batterskull, which is kind of funny. Brainstorm's going to be fine. At least they're not holding up Counterspell. Astrolabe, okay. I guess like Spells Pierce is probably what I really don't want to see now. It's gonna resolve. I think you've already lost this game. Calling it pretty early. Okay, getting some Wasteland targets, which is nice. This looks like a Jace. Oh, Palace Shaler, that's pretty rough. Not the worst, though. This Batterskull is bounceable. And we will be able to get 2 of their lands this turn. Another Swords. I'm just going to Swords while they're tapped out. And play, and probably just hold up, return the Batterskull. Flickerwisp, interesting. I think I'd rather Batterskull here than Flickerwisp, because if they're only out to the Batterskull as a Swords to Plowshares, then at least we can flicker it the following turn. I don't mind running this Batterskull into counter magic. Alright. Giver. It's definitely tough. They've drawn 3 cards already with this Monarch. The kind of little train that could. Maybe like snap here to Faerie. Okay. Bounce the Flickerwisp? Guess they kind of have to. This is looking very rough. I guess we can recruit her for Phyrexian Revoker. This most likely just gets forced and a concession. Forced pitching spell pierce. Okay. Rough. Cataclysm seems great. Council Judgment seems great. Swords can most likely come out. Wasteland can most likely come out. Stoneforge can most likely come out. Deafening Silence seems fine, especially in an Astrolabe deck. So I don't mind both of them on the play. I think I might just try this kind of change. Relic-Warder is interesting. Maybe I like Relic-Warder again over the Tomik. Walking Ballista is also okay, especially dealing with Planeswalkers. But I think this is fine. Pretty rough. Plowshares is a hell of a card. Thalia's been alright tonight. I've kind of liked Thalia. Heretic Cathar, that is. Don't think Rest in Peace is worth it. Still on the fence. Maybe Ballista is actually better than... Okay. We will... Pretty happy to keep this hand. It's a pretty great hand. Especially with the Rishadan Ports. And no force in hand for my opponent. Just a F6 from them. Wow. Another Vial. I think Port here is better, and then Vial next turn. And I'm just going to Port in their upkeep, so they can't play a land and then like brainstorm and actually get some sort of benefit from this fetch land. I mean, I might even just give it here to play around Containment Priest. We can't play around Swords of Plowshares anyway. Definitely tick this up. Oh, Deafening Silence. Interesting. I might play a land and then play the Deafening Silence. Play around Spell Pierce. And now because I don't have a creature to put in their end step, I'd rather just probably tap them off the island here. So they have to find another land to Sorcery Speed Ponder. And then I'm actually going to see if they... I'm just going to activate this to see if they might have Containment Priest. Looks like they don't. Let this tick up. Tomik. Play Karakas. I can play a Vial. And then pass turn with Karakas up and Thalia with a way to save her. Pretty nice. Let's go for white mana here. No float. So I'm pretty happy just to put in a Thalia now. In case they have a fetch land in hand, we might be able to draw into like a Wasteland and waste it. And with the Karakas, it's pretty free from removal as well. Karakas, alright. So now we really want to find a Wasteland. Alright, so this one we will not tick up. Always no. And this one we will. Flickerwisp, interesting. I guess I can save some time if I want by flickering the Karakas, which is pretty nice. I don't mind that. Yeah, putting Karakas isn't too bad as well. Just keeping the Flickerwisp around for some sort of shenanigans. I'm never going to double port because I want to keep the Thalia up with Karakas. Teferi's fine. And bounce on this is fine. I guess I can actually return it to fizzle it so they don't draw the card. This one we will tick up, and the other one we won't. Cataclysm. Is it worth it? It's not the worst, because we have the Vial on 3. I think this is like the best Cataclysm we could get. I think what we do is activate the Aether Vial and take out a port. And then keep the Karakas. I don't know if Tomik's the creature that I want to keep. I think I'd much rather use Flickerwisp to port out another land. I'm just going to go with this line. Oh. I got a whole priority. There we go. Keep this artifact. Keep this creature. Keep the Karakas, so I have protection. And then keep the Deafening Silence. Nice. Where? Interesting. Okay. Elephant, yes, that is a great play, and the play that I should have taken. So yeah, what you're saying is put in the Flickerwisp, and then keep the Vial on 2 open, which is, yeah, really nice. Vial. Definitely attack. And then I'm pretty happy to play this Vial over porting. That's a really nice play. I like that one. Apologies for missing it. Interesting. Nothing from my opponent. Alright. Hey, Elephantius. Thank you very much for the follow. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. What are your local scenes like? Happy to go after Karakas here. Just so they don't have like double white for Council of Judgment, unless they want to fetch for it and play another white source. I'm gonna activate Vial here just to act like I have something. Just to see if they respond with like a Containment Priest, but they don't, which is nice. Definitely tick up Vial. Another Deafening Silence is kind of dead. Attack here. Keep them off the Karakas, so we can put in Tomik in our end step. Tomik also changes the clock as well, which is really nice. I will tick this up to 3. I do like Thalia a lot more. I think in response here, I want to put in the Thalia so they can't get a duel with white mana. Pestamite. Interesting. It does come in tap. I think it tap down a creature. Most likely the Flickerwisp because it deals more damage. Did not expect Pestamite. Ha! Pestamite's an interesting one. That's fine. They could untap it if they want. I guess it just isn't the greatest blocker for Tommy. They could have traded with the Flickerwisp, I guess. Alright. Definitely tap down. I think I still tap down the Karakas because I don't want them to have a white source after their draw step. Hey, dare to be a donut. A huge thank you. Good luck with the rest of your weekend. Hope it's going well, and I'll definitely see you on YouTube. At least they can't even upkeep a creature here. Always no. Giver. Alright, let's just attack. Do we get there? Astrolabe. Creatures are non-basic lands. Do I care about any sorcery speed spells? I guess they could have Teferi, which bounces the Thalia, which buys them a turn. So I think I might just allow it to happen. I'd rather play around another Teferi or... Yeah, this looks pretty good. Oh, of course, because the Deafening Silence. Interesting. That's going to be fine. Ah, non-creature, of course. I guess Flickerwisp for the win? This is a always no. Wasteland. I guess Wasteland's kind of nice. I think I'd much rather just Wasteland the Karakas here. And then just use the Karakas defensively with the Vial. Tap down the Vault because it taps the 2 colors. Although with the Astrolabe it doesn't really matter. Ponder's going to be fine. Ah, interesting. So Deafening Silence does not stop Snellcaster, of course. Prismatic comes in tapped. I feel like that's a big win for us. They chose not to shuffle, though, so maybe they just didn't have an out. Pretty happy to run it back the way we saw it. I could see myself bringing in Walking Ballista for maybe a Thalia on the draw. I don't mind that. They can have Sinkhole. Alright. It's kind of nice coming back to D&T. I've been playing a bit of Humans, for those of you who have been following the stream. It's also on my YouTube, at youtube.com/c/Dukes on Twitch. You can find all my Humans content, which is a really fun deck and a really great deck against Miracle decks. Or really just blue decks in general. I'm not going to keep this hand. It's a 1-lander with just the Port Vial. So I'm going to mulligan this. And this is just a 1-lander with the Plains. But it does have some time to adapt. I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to block down... I'm going to lower the Walking Ballista. That's fine. It's never great keeping 1-landers, but I don't want to go down to 5. There's probably like a better 5, like 2 lands, Vial, Thalia, another card. Oh, okay, we'll see if this works. Oh, it does. Interesting. They do have Wear Tear in the deck, though, so definitely something to be aware of. Or a tear of. It's not a great joke. Another land. I think I'd rather just play Deafening Silence here and try to keep my creatures open with the Vial. I hope they just don't like end step destroy this Vial. Okay. Little win for us. Karakas is pretty nice against our Stoneforge, against our Thalia. Let's go for the bait here. I really don't like playing into the turn 3 Fuse, to be honest. Fuse. Bro, Seder. What do you mean by Fuse? Ah, wear and tear. Okay, gotcha. Planes. Ah, that's fair enough. Okay, yeah, they can actually do both sides. That's very true. I'm just going to pass back and hold up Stoneforge. Deceiver Exarch. Interesting. In response, I'm going to go get Sword of Fire and Ice. It's something we can... I'm pretty happy just to cast even next turn with open mana, but we do hopefully have this Stoneforge still online next turn, so you never know. So Vial definitely going to 3. Swords. Okay. Another Thalia. I'm pretty happy just casting the sword here. And passing back. Another Exarch. Ugh. I wonder if they do run Kikijiki. And if they tap down here, if I should exile one of the volcanic islands until end step. Thalia's sadly do nothing with the Karakas in play. I guess it does slow them down a turn, but I'd rather get the Flickerwisp into play and see if they can deal with it or not. Yeah, they could just play Twin as well. That's very true. No attacks is interesting. They might as well attack. It's not like we can block very well, and they can't block. Alright, this is going to stay at 3. File. I guess we equip. I don't think my opponent's in a position where they're just going to, like, I can bluff Swords to Plowshares. Brainstorm's going to be fine. Hopefully if they tap out, they tap the Karakas. Of course, the Deafening Silence is stopping them from casting anything. Might as well put in a Thalia. Definitely tick this one up. Okay, that's a start. Definitely attack first. Karakas is fine. We can now play Wasteland. Take out the Karakas. Play Thalia. And pass back. I just like getting 2 threats on the field. Especially since the Vial's already on 3, then playing a Thalia here is fine. Swords, that's fine. So Heretic Cathar definitely a lot better against the combo than Thalia right now. Pond is fine. I guess I could have Vialed in response because they can't really cast a removal spell anyway. Just that if they did play another land, it would come and tapped if it was a fetch land or a dual land. Like Karakas. Like, it's definitely relevant because then I'll be able to attack in with the sword. Well, they go to combat first. Well, I'll definitely put in the Thalia. I'm going to fetch in response. Okay. Wait, I wonder if they play Mystic Sanctuary. No, okay. They can definitely still attack to get in a point. Might as well just 6 here. There's nothing else we can do. Looks like they're casting another creature. Or trying to. I guess I could have blocked one if I really wanted to there. We just bounce off each other. There's no point not. Yes. Ooh, Cataclysm. Doesn't do a whole lot with only 2 cards in the deck. Bolt. Interesting. Guess that's going to resolve. Now we just pass back. I'm going to activate this vial just to see if anything happens. And I'm happy just to take the 2 instead of putting in Thalia during the second main phase. Ensnaring Bridge. Interesting, with 1 card left. This is cast? Yeah, so we can definitely put in Thalia here. And then it will resolve. This is always a no as well. We'll just keep it 2 and 3 for now. Alright. Might as well equip and just pass turn. Guess they can return the sword if they want. They can return the vial. Okay. Might as well activate it. The issue with Cataclysm is that they get to keep this Ensnaring Bridge, but I guess they also lose a bunch of lands, so maybe they start actually piling up cards in their hand because they can't cast them. So if I'm gonna Cataclysm, I like putting Vial up to 3 here. No, I don't. I like keeping it at 2 for now, seeing what we draw into. I guess Judgment's pretty nice. Attack them. Hopefully this resolves and the trigger can go towards the Teferi. And we draw a 2-drop, that'd be kind of cool. Deafening Silence, okay. We've already cast a spell for the turn, so we'll just pass back. Might as well activate this. Nothing. Not sure why they're not attacking with both. That is interesting. Maybe if they thought we had another creature, they didn't want to take the damage and make it a 2-turn clock. Let's keep this at 2 still. I guess the highest upside is that if we draw into... I actually don't mind using it, because if we draw into Karakas, it's just so good. Recruit is even better, okay. Do I want to just main phase Recruiter? I think we're happy just to attack here. And now I might just hold up Recruiter. Because Recruiter is just lethal anyway with the sword. So in case they find like a Swords to Plowshares or something. Still just the attack with 1. Interesting. Alright. See if this resolves. Get Flickerwisp. We untap, that's pretty big. That should just lock it up. Hopefully. Swords. I think I actually really care about this Thalia, so I'm going to save it. I mean, it is stopping the combo, so that's pretty big. I don't mind playing Ballista here, just tapping out for 2. Because then it makes just a big swing lethal as well. They're going to fetch. Did they know the card on top? I don't think they did. Hopefully they're just trying to thin. Nice. Alright. Close one. Yeah, I don't think they'd be running Terminus in a creature-based deck. I think the other Miracles decks are more likely to be running Terminus in the deck that's running a main deck combo of Pestimites and Deceiver Exarchs. But we're currently 3-1. Luckily. So we lost to Miracles, a win against Miracles, a win against Splinter Twin, and a win against Depths. So no Rug yet, which is kind of nice. I'm not a big fan of the Rug matchup, but it can go either way. I think D&T has a lot of resilience, which is nice. Still trying to get through all the Card Titan Eternal Weekend content, because there's a hell of a lot, and it's pretty awesome content, especially because there's not many there are not many big tournaments that are on coverage these days for Legacy, so that's always nice. Thalia Heretic Cathar is really nice. I like that it's a 3-powered first strike creature. That's savable with Karakas, which is really nice. And of course, yeah, Big Thalia, they're really putting in a lot of work against Kiki-Jiki coming in tapped, and then of course all the copies coming in tapped if they also try to go off with Splinter Twin. Lucky Dragon. This hand's fine. A little bad against combo, but the Vial start is quite nice. Just don't lead on like... Okay, Wooded Foothills is actually really nice. I guess that could mean Rug, but we'll see. Astrolabe. Okay, so another like 4-color deck. So hand actually looking not too bad. The Vial most likely safe against this deck in the main deck. But you never know. I think Ren's gonna be pretty good. Wasteland not so much. So I think here I'm actually happy just to play out the Umezawa's Jitte while the Vial's ticking up. Karakas. Definitely going to lead with the Wasteland because I prefer that to be Wastelanded than Karakas. Dak. Oof. That's pretty rough. However, if they try to steal something, we can put in Give of Runes. And then actually Flickerwisp the Aether Vial. So not all is lost. Just kind of hope they don't have a counter spell for this Flickerwisp. I could also not really care about the Vial and just try to get in with Jitte here. They're most likely on the... This is probably like a Stifo deck. I think just because the Jailer and our mana, we really want that Vial back. Looks like a force. Okay. Pitching Oko, so not too bad. So at least we get to kill Dak. The Vial, however, is a little bit scary with the Jailer not doing too well at keeping creatures at instant speed away. Liquid metal coating. Ah, they can steal it with Dak. That's hilarious. Wasteland. They can Oko my lands. They only have 2 cards in hand. I'm gonna go with Equip and Swing. Fair. Down to 1 card. I guess sort of Fire and Ice is pretty good actually. Probably better than Batterskull. Yeah, I like sort of Fire and Ice. Especially if Punishing Fire gets online, it's going to be pretty rough for me to try to get some creatures through. Oof. I guess we get to exile our own Stoneforge, and then it comes back under my control if they get the Monarch. Is that how it works? At least here we get to play Palace Jailer and Giver of Runes, which is kind of nice. Stack the triggers wrong. Is there another way to stack the triggers? Sort of Fire and Ice is nice that it also protects from Dak and Oko. If you stack the triggers wrong, the creature comes back instantly. What triggers are you talking about, Jack? Ren's pretty good. Get back Wasteland, Wasteland us? Prince. I guess we go for Jitte on Jailer. Attack Dak. Now I could Prince. I think I'll keep the Prince in hand. I could also put the Jitte on the Giver so that it doesn't die to Bolt or Punishing Fire, which I actually really like. Annoying, but I guess this is fine. Because we can swords... it's still rough. Oh, they get the Jitte as well? Oh, God. Oh, no. What? Don't we control the Jitte and they control the creature? But I can't use the... I guess I can use the counters. There we go. Okay. One card left in hand. So let's go... I kind of like Swords the Giver. Equip to Jailer and then attack the... Probably the Wren that I care about the most. Prelate. They only have one card in hand. So if I care about a creature, I probably care about Goyf. Goyf's pretty bad. I don't think I care about removal because most of the removal is damage based and this Palace Jailer can easily play around removal. So I'm going to play Thalia, Heretic, Cathar to make sure nothing comes in off the Vial and now attack the deck. Nice. Okay. The crown just so good. What's this? Punishing Fire on Thalia. Okay. Liquid Metal. Okay. No cards in hand. Interesting. So I guess it's really like Oko and Dak that I really care about. So Prelate on 3 sounds pretty good. It does turn off our own Sword of Fire and Ice, but I'm not too worried about that right now. I'm also going to pump once. Maybe I actually pump twice. They have no cards in hand. And I want to get to a position where they can't just kind of slow down the clock by stealing the Jitte. As good as Dak seem in this matchup, we kind of just had the answer each time, which is really nice. So we definitely like Council's Judgment. I don't mind Rest in Peace because of the Punishing Fires. Deafening Silence seems weird. Cataclysm seems okay. Leonin Relic-Warder seems pretty good. I think we can take out Swords. I don't mind dropping on Stoneforge. Also hits Ren and 6. I'm going to quickly go to the bathroom and then I'll be back in a second. We are back. So yeah, Rest in Peace actually seems really good. Walking Ballista is interesting. I don't think it's worth it. We can probably drop 1 Thalia and 2 Thalias on the draw. Swords are definitely going out. Interesting. Maybe Deafening Silence is okay. Slowing them down seems fine. Maybe I like Ballista, especially if it kills Dak, if they go down. Bloodbraid Elf? Interesting. Okay, maybe we'll try out a Deafening Silence. Let's go with this and see how it goes. It sounds great. It sounds really nice. We'll keep this. The Vial into Port is really nice, especially if they're on the DAC kind of plan. Alright, Plains is actually a great draw, so let's just go Vial here. And pass back. I do like that Vial probably isn't the biggest force threat for them, because they know they have so many ways to get rid of it with Oko and Dak. Astrolabe's fine. So next turn I'm just going to Port, and then the following turn I'll have Port and Deafening Silence open, which is really nice. And also Phyrexian Revoker. Relic-Warder is pretty nice as well. Relic-Warder on Astrolabe's okay, but if they get rid of it, it's going to be pretty rough. I'm going to tap them off. It doesn't really matter because the Astrolabe, but I'll go for the blue. Yeah. Ren's not too bad because we have the Phyrexian Revoker, which is nice. Brainstorm, okay. Silence does do nothing against Bloodbraid Elf. That's very correct. Actually, it stops mission briefing, Jack, so... There, haha, it does do something? Activate Vial, put nothing in, untap. Tick this up. Yes. Plains, play Deafening Silence, and then hold up Port, and then hold up Revoker and Relic-Warder. They had Vial on 2. They're playing Snaps. Yeah, probably playing Goyfs as well. So the Rest in Peace seem great against both of those cards, which is nice. Pretty happy here to tap down an island. I guess try to keep them off double blue as much as I can, if I'm really scared of something like... What's this? Oko. Okay. We'll definitely need to deal with that. I'm going to put Vial up to 3, just because we have Recruiter and Flickerwisp. I don't mind just playing another Plains here. Attacking Oko. I could definitely go and get Prelate if I really wanted to for 2, but I kind of feel like the Wisp chain is kind of nice as well. So I'm just going to pass back. If they have red, they most likely use it at instant speed, so I'm just going to tap down an island. Nothing. Interesting. Ren's pretty good here. I guess we can flicker the target being Phyrexian Revoker. which is nice because it works out quite nicely. Although this gets ticked up to 4, it's going to be okay. We do have the Relic-Warder for this as well, so it's going to work out really nicely. So we can deal with everything next turn. So I'm not too sure what I want to name with the Phyrexian Revoker. I think it's Oko just in case, because the... Maybe it's Ren just in case, because the Flickerwisp is definitely dealing with the Oko. If you Oko'd your Wisp, wouldn't that stop it coming back, or no? If you Oko'd your Wisp... It is, yeah, it is a delay trigger. So because... Okay, so because the Wisp is dealing with the Oko, and it's the Phyrexian Revoker's job to deal with the Ren, if the Leonin Relic-Warder doesn't deal with the Astrolabe, then the Ren's going to survive. So I'm going to name Ren, because that's probably the biggest backfire moment that's going to happen. If we do... Not do something correctly. I mean, we could even try to go for Recruiter of the Guard into Palace Jailer, but we're just going to try to use Leonin Relic-Warder here. I also should have played the Karakas there, because it means then we could still recruit it for Flickerwisp and flicker the Astrolabe. Even though they draw a card, it means we deal with both of these Planeswalkers. Okay, so that's very lucky. Oh! 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 Of course! Haha, it's not an artifact anymore. That's a punt. That is a punt and a half. Rough. Is it a May? It is. Classic. Classic. If it's a maid, can't I just say no? Rough. Deafening Silence, I guess? Oh, okay. No. There we go. I guess, yeah, I guess it's worth playing a Recruiter here and seeing if we can get Flickerwisp. There's the Force, okay. Rough. So we definitely kill Oko. And then hopefully Ren doesn't run away with this game after they maybe find a way to deal with the Revoker. Rough. I just didn't read the card, and that's the big one. I do find those mistakes really good, though, because now I will never do it again. It's kind of like when your opponent sometimes doesn't give, like, the takesy-backsies, and you definitely remember it. Story, you were 100% correct. Oko is very strong. Rough. Now they might just run away with this game. This is definitely not ticking up anymore. Oof. That's pretty big. I wonder if we just go for Jailer here. Yeah, nice. Okay. Now just don't have like Snapcaster Mage. That'd be pretty brutal. Alright, so we got out of that little puzzle. And now we're going to take them off red, which seems pretty good. Wastelanding us isn't doing too much for them to win this game. So if they wasteland us, I'm pretty happy. And they're just going to concede. So, wow. Interesting. That's a lot of prizes. Nice. So let's close that. Yeah, the deck felt really nice. The Thalia Heretic Cathars were really good. The sideboard was fine. I think Deafening Silence was a lot better than Chalice for the matchups we played, but I think that Chalice is probably brought in against a lot more decks. We didn't play against any Dark Ritual decks, which is what I really wanted the Deafening Silences for. But that's just online sometimes. The Charming Princes were really nice. The main deck Plowshares, Leonin Prelate always go really strong as well. The 3 Giver runes were great. There's probably, I didn't really want Mum over them at any time. And I never really wanted the 4th one either, so I really like just the 3 sort of Givers there. The 3 Flickerwisp as well, so cutting the 4th to make room for the 2nd Charming Prince was really good. I didn't mind that. Cataclysm was great. There's a few games where we didn't even need to cast it, we were just ahead on board. But I do really like Gideon LA of Zendikar. I don't think you can play both because they kind of come in on the similar matchups. It's kind of weird if you play like Gideon against Miracles and then you draw into Cataclysm. The Ballista was okay. It's kind of a flex slot that maybe right now just isn't that great, but it does seem pretty good against some of the decks that you can't finish off their walkers just with damage. You have to play something like Ballista to maybe ping a Planeswalker after damage. Let's open up these chests. I think Ren's probably the best card. I think Ulamog's pretty good. 45 play points. Is that 45 play points? That's pretty good. I think Ulamog's worth something, which is quite nice. 5 play points. Birds of Paradise, great playable card. Play it in Maverick. Although the Goose is also pretty good. Stonecoil Serpent, another playable card. Ulamog is like $30. Interesting. Okay. Open them one at a time. Come on now. Razormane Mastercore. First strike, at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice it. Unless you discard a card, at the beginning of your draw step, you may have it deal 3 damage to target creature. Interesting. Interesting card. Very cool if you stack it with a card that comes back in your upkeep. And then lastly, Shivan Reef and Seaborn Muse. Seaborn Muse is a pretty good card. Untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. Very cool. That is it. A huge thank you to you guys for coming in and watching my stream. I'm going to send you guys over to Arkan. If you want to reach out to me, you can catch me on Twitter at Dukes on Twitch on Twitter. All my videos are on YouTube at youtube.com/c/Dukes on Twitch. I'll be back maybe tomorrow morning with a stream. We'll see, which is in about 12 hours. And then back definitely on Wednesday night at Australian Eastern Standard Time of 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much to Eltrian for following. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. But that is me. I will quickly send you guys over to Arkan, who is another Legacy streamer. Really well known, especially for his Miracles decks. Just a really nice guy as well. Really fun channel to be a part of. So that is me. Thank you very much.